Happy Monday, Kingdom Class. How are you? First of all, I just want to thank everybody for an awesome time we had last week when we went through some group exercises to fully understand the parable of the talents and the minuses, to really understand what God has given to us, all the external resources that He blesses us with, along with the opportunities that come along with that, as far as our internal resources, the talents and the gifts that God has planted within us, not only our abilities, our natural abilities, but even our spiritual abilities. How we're able to put those two together and trade with them. That is to put them in action so we can yield a kingdom return on His investment in our lives. So we did that last week and had a chance to see what it looks like in 2019 terms of really producing a harvest, producing a profit, a return on the investment that God has blessed us with. So thank you very much for your participation and enthusiasm from last week. Well, tomorrow night, I cannot wait for us to get together. We're going to do a couple of things. If you hadn't had a chance to come to any of the Kingdom classes previously because of life, because life happens, we understand, you don't want to miss tomorrow night because we're going to finish off with all the parables which we will be talking about in the Understanding God's Kingdom curriculum. There are about 45 parables that Jesus taught. We only teach on 14 of them. So tomorrow night we're going to finish off with the parable of the growing seed, and that's a particular one because it helps us to understand as we engage the kingdom process. It helps adjust our faith and our expectation as to how that process comes to maturity. So we're going to talk about that in the parable of the growing seed. But then after that, then we're going to have a culmination. We're going to do a review of all of the parables that we talked about thus far in the class. We'll have a summary sheet, go over and have a chance for you to ask some questions. And then finally, as they say, there's more. We're going to have a bonus session. This is not necessarily a curriculum material that's in the curriculum, I should say. It's something that helps us to understand why we're even taking the course. Why do we want to understand God's kingdom? Well, as you know, there's no such thing as just black and white issues. There are gray areas of life. How do you navigate through the gray areas of life? And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how we are to look at the material in terms of the teaching that God's given us, or that Jesus taught us through the parables, and how it helps us to navigate through the gray areas of life. As you know, there's no book, chapter, and verse we can go to find out who to marry, which job to take, where to live. There isn't a place to go in the Bible to find book, chapter, and verse. But if we understand what the material and the value that God gives us, that Jesus is teaching us, then it helps us to be able to go through and navigate through the gray areas of life. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. Take care and God bless.